Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, fresh off a broadcast of The Rundown, Mike Piwowarski. Mike, how's it going today, man? And Mike froze up at a very inopportune time. Nope. Are you there, Mike? Well, I think Mike's having issues. Let me bring up. Yeah, Mike, are you there? Now his signal's gone. Now he's back.
How about that? Are we there?
Yeah, you're here.
Wow, that was weird. Had like a little internet flash go through there. So I don't know what's going on. But Paul, it's great to be here. It's great to be with you and everybody with the Second Amendment Foundation.
And he got caught in the flush again. All right, let me get social media hooked up while we wait for Mike to come back. And
as it always is.
uh-oh. Now I think we may have you back. And nope, he's still got a red signal on my board, so all right. Let's I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start talking about what we have today. And today, honestly, really slow news day. As we get into that, I want to remind everybody, this is for podcast episode listeners. This is episode 101. We had episode 100 yesterday. Today is episode 101 for podcast listeners. If you are watching the live show, you can comment on either live Facebook or YouTube video. If you have a Twitter account, you can tweet with the hashtag Bullet Podcast. That gets through right away, gets to me, and I will get your comment on the air, and I'll discuss it. And if Mike's with me, we will discuss it. So as we get in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start bringing comments in here. And that's weird. I disappeared off the screen. But George says, Docs California gun owner checking in. How's everybody else's day going? There I am again. Yeah, and when Mike comes back, I think I see him back now. Mike, it's not in show notes, but we had, let me get the right button pushed here. We had George commenting, Doxed California gun owner checking in. How's everybody else's day going? Have you been following that story where the state of California released every person that has a CCW in the state, their information, their birth date, their address went out to the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Been watching this. It's not only everybody that has one, Paul. It's everybody that's ever applied for one. So them as well, including their names, addresses, birthdays, the types of firearms, all the firearm information, and I believe the quote from their attorney general today was, "This was an unauthorized release of information." That was were the words he chose. An unauthorized release of information.
It doesn't mean unplanned, just unauthorized. Yeah, okay.
Correct. Yep. This is you know what? You look at this and you see how the way they operate in California. This is somebody's response to New York State versus Bruin. That's what this is. If you want to come in here and tell us what to do, well, here's our response to you. If you're going to tell us how we have to allow people to have guns, we're going to let people know who all those gun owners are. So this is clearly going to come down to, well, in any other real state, this would come down to people going into jail. But in California, this will probably get somebody a raise.
Couple of comments from John I want to get in here. Oops, get that one up. There we go. A black day for 2A freedom in the first state of Delaware. Governor John Carney signed 6 pieces of legislation into law Thursday meant to improve gun safety and reduce gun violence in Delaware. bills banning the sale of assault weapons, increasing the age to buy a gun in most cases from 18 to 21. And let me send this one out. And he said 4 other bills signed by the governor were high capacity magazine limitations, bans on the use of devices such as a Glock switch designed to make handguns fully automatic, strengthens background checks, increases accountability for gun dealers and manufacturers. Good news for you, John. My opinion, those bills may go into effect, but they're not going to last long. The other story we're going to cover today, one of the other stories we're going to cover today, is the Supreme Court basically gave us a victory without directly giving us a victory in 4 cases. They vacated the cases and sent them back to the lower districts for reconsideration. They said, basically, look, you got it wrong. Look at what we said in Bruin. Look at what we said in Heller. Do it right, is what they did. So I have no doubt that SAF or another gun rights organization will get these into federal court fairly quickly. I don't think these gun laws are long for existence. With the possible exception, look, the Glock switch, that's already illegal. It's all illegal by federal rules, not state rules. That one, that one may be around for a while. But I even hope that one goes away eventually.
Yeah, that'd be great, right? Actually give back rights to the people. But yeah, I think, by the way, this Delaware law just basically mirroring what Big Brother Delaware says there. Joe Biden, this is part of his bipartisan bill that we see against gun violence, because we got all these guns out there doing these terrible things. Remember that it's against gun violence, so we don't have to worry about this, Paul. It's not against me or you or I. It's against guns. So we just have to worry about guns being going to jail. It's a ridiculous law. It's in the face of the Supreme Court saying we don't respect you, we don't care, we don't care about the division of our government. That's fine. The same thing happened earlier this week with the judges down in Louisiana, right? You had the abortion law, with the Dobbs case. They had a trigger law in Louisiana that went into effect, banning most abortions. And a judge in Louisiana says, I think Dobbs is unconstitutional and put an injunction in place. The Supreme Court just issues it, and then they issues injunction immediately afterwards saying, don't concur. Well, guess what? You folks, whether it's in California releasing information, Delaware, putting up these bad laws, or judges about to lose their job in Louisiana, too effing bad. I'm sorry. This is the law of the land. All right. We all pay by the law of the land, except you guys want to have a childlike tantrum and kick and scream until you get your way. Well, I'll tell you about what you're going to get. You're about to get your butt whipped. You're about to get disciplined. That's about the only thing that's coming next, because if you don't obey the laws of the land, there's going to be some consequences.
Yeah. Going back to the California leaking all that information, Pete over at Gun Website says all that data needed to exist, be on a server, set to public, etc. Very difficult to call that an accident. You know what, Pete? The last several times we've talked about this, I've said the same thing. This is not tinfoil. This is a real cap. However, I agree with you, man, that for all that information to be released to the public, it's hard for me to believe that was not intentional.
Yeah, I have a study right here. It shows me the exact percentage of a chance that it was accidental. Oh, look at that. It was 0%.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Mike says, we'll soon be getting calls for extended warranties for our guns from Nigeria. Did you? That was a story.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
There was a story that I wanted to get on the last few shows. I didn't get it in show notes here, but in Nigeria, one of the states is now getting they're getting a right to bear arms in Nigeria because of the horrific crime problem they have. The governor of that state has said, look, if you live in my state, you now have the right to keep and bear arms. No permitting, no nothing. They went from you can't have guns to constitutional carry that fast.
Pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing.
It's just, I wonder when Chicago is going to get the clue. It just,
again, it's nobody cares about Chicago, right? Because and here's the bad part: we care about Chicago. I care about Chicago. You care about Chicago. I think every responsible gun owner cares about Chicago. First off, the loss of life there. Second, that how it makes the rest of us look, and that we try our best to help with them by being responsible gun owners. And nothing's going on there. You have Mayor Lori Lightfoot there, who's an alternative lifestyle black woman, and she could care less about young black men and young minority men dying in her streets because it does not meet her political agenda. Folks, the Democrats don't care. They don't care about you. They want you to vote. And guess what? They know felons and juveniles don't vote. So they don't care. Absolutely don't. It doesn't mean a damn thing to them about the youth, the minority youth of that city and that state dying daily because it doesn't bother their national agenda.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I want to get one more story in here. This one from SAF's own Lee Williams. 25 Republican congressmen, including every Republican member of the House Judiciary Committee, sent a letter Wednesday to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives Acting Director Gary Ristanio, demanding an explanation for the department's broad and unprecedented effort to revoke FFLs from law-abiding business owners throughout the country. Led by Representative Andy Biggs from Arizona, congressmen are seeking answers to issues revealed in a special report by the Second Amendment Foundation titled ATF Federal Firearm License Revocations Up a Staggering 500%. Now, according to the Daily Caller, and I'm skipping through here, some of the questions that they're asking is there an official or unofficial competition among ATF field divisions relating to FFL revocations? How many FFLs were revoked by ATF from 2009 to 2016? How many FFLs were revoked from ATF from 2017 to 2020? Read Trump years. How many FFLs were revoked from the ATF from 2021 to present? And this is a congressional inquiry. This is not a FOIA. This is not something that ATF can just kind of shuffle away from. This is a good thing.
Yeah, this is a good thing, to get exposed. And I mean, how about the work that Lee Williams continues to do there, right? I mean, it's absolutely amazing. His investigative journalism he's doing, bringing that brand of journalism now to SAF is amazing. The 500%. Listen, we've seen this happen before. We saw under the Obama administration, the revocation rate went a little bit higher. Under Trump, the application rate and approval rate was a little bit higher, but now under Biden, it's gone completely mad. It's gone completely sideways. This is not the only information that's happening with ATF. Paul, the ATF just last week, I think it was the 16th and 18th of this month, put out a instructional video concerning the dealing with 80% firearms and how dealers and even non-dealers are supposed to deal with them now under their new classifications, pending new classifications. I've spoken to 5-6 different dealers across the Southeast, even across just a couple of counties, and every one of them has received different instructions of what to do per ATF. One was told they had to get a separate business license so it couldn't be sold under the same business. One was told it was okay to put it under your own business. It just has to ship in a separate box. One was told the business had to move outside a building to a different building. Every brand of ATF, every time there's an explanation, it's a different explanation from every inspector, from every supervisor on what to do. I don't know if ATF's plan is so coordinated to destroy the industry by being confusing, or they're so inept that they don't know what the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing.
Sounds like another government agency called the IRS.
Yeah, exactly right. Or as Let's Go Brandon would refer to it, the ISR.
Yes.
The ISR. Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to, the ATF, honestly, my opinion, it absolutely needs to just go away. There's nothing the ATF does that can't be done, isn't already being done in other areas of the government. And
agreed.
It has become so amazingly politicized over the past dozen years that I'm just
At this point, they've become a rogue organization. They've yet to have permanent leadership now for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you've literally got people just occupying the seat, signing vacation request forms. That's about it. They refuse to make a decision, refuse to come up with a policy. They understand the politics of it. They understand they've not been appointed to that position, and they're temporary only. This is an agency that's been without guidance and direction for over 10 years now and has entered the rogue category. It's time to go. You're right. There's nothing else out there that couldn't be handled that the ATF does by the FBI, the Secret Service, the DEA, everybody else.
Well, and you know what? The ATF isn't the one that processes your Form 4473. When you go to buy a gun, you fill out the paperwork at the gun shop. That's not done by the ATF. That's done by the FBI.
That's right. Excellent point.
And there was a decision that came down from the Supreme Court today. This decision is not gun related, but it's good news for guns anyway. It was a EPA decision in which they said, look, you cannot regulate something that's going to destroy an entire industry without congressional you've got to have congressional authority to do that. Congress hasn't given you that authority. I like that simply because the ATF is looking to define a firearm. The ATF is looking to define who can and cannot sell firearms through their FFL. They're looking to change things up. That I'm hearing that I've heard now a couple times that Curio and Relic's FFLs are they're getting extremely hard to get, and they're getting revoked, just like regular business FFLs are. Business FFL revocations up 500%.
You're right. And Curio and Relics, for those who don't know what a Curio and Relic license is, it's anything made 50 years prior to today. So tomorrow would be 50 years prior to tomorrow. Well, if you do that math, you're talking 1972 now. There's many, many types of firearms out there that are considered modern firearms. Smith & Wesson, Colts, rifles, handguns that were made prior to 72. When the CNR license came out. Yeah, when the CNR license came out 30, 40 years ago, Paul, it was really Curios and Relics. It was pre-World War I kind of stuff. When they first started to regulate this, you were looking at things from the World War I, but now you're talking about basically modern handguns and rifles and CNRs. Although they don't have to do much the same, it's more of a collector's license than it is a for-profit license. And when it's a collector license, the ATF can't come and say, "Oh, you're not in the business for a profit, so we're taking your license away from you." So they're taking their license away for every reason they can find.
Yeah, and 50 years. Well, the AR-15 has been around for 60. So
exactly right.
Yep. You get to comment in from Michael. This one's 8 minutes old, so I don't think he's talking. This is about what we were just talking about, but I still want to get the comment up. They can't even define what a ghost gun is, let alone what the difference between an AR-15 and M16, clips, mags, etc.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. I'll tell you what else happened today, Paul. Considering ghost guns,
what's up?
Haven't even had a chance to do this on the rundown or on Arms Room Radio yet. In fact, I got a photo of it right here. It was at a shop earlier today. UPS The United Parcel Service has decided to cancel the accounts of anybody that they believe was involved with the sales of ghost guns. We write to inform you the UPS has learned that your company may be violating applicable laws concerning the shipment of ghost guns or unauthorized locations. In light of our concern, listen to this wording. UPS has determined that it will cancel your account effective immediately. If pickup service was scheduled, be advised that this service is also terminated effective immediately. Listen to this. Accordingly, you may not reopen an account with UPS, whether you seek to do through your license or somebody else's license or an internet website. We ask that you do not attempt to tender any shipments. Do not attempt to call us. Do not attempt to write us. Please note that any package found with your name on it will be seized and destroyed. This is what UPS has done today to firearms dealers, legal, authorized federal firearms dealers, because somebody said they might be involved in the sale of 80% receivers.
You know, UPS, if you were to be, if you have a package coming to me from one of these places and it gets destroyed, I'm going to own UPS.
Yes. I immediately got together with the group, and this went out to hundreds of licensees this week. Got together and suggested they file those class action suits through our good friends and Second Amendment attorneys that we all know and love.
Yeah. We know some attorneys where I work. That needs to be a bankruptcy level thing right there.
Yes, sir.
That's not. There are no laws against this. This is a company deciding that. Well, I don't. You shouldn't be shipping Tupperware. So therefore, everything we think may be Tupperware, we're going to destroy it, and these people shouldn't be getting it anyway. So our nose is in the air. We're clean. Yeah, no, UPS needs to be absolutely bankrupt over this.
This is another example, or another, of what happened with Operation Choke Point during the Obama administration. This is the government and the ATF leaning on private corporations to not do work with the firearms industry.
Going back to the CNR, Curio and Relic, I want to get this one in here real quick. Pete over at Gun Websites, now they can say, oh, you made a profit.
Yeah. Yes.
And George says, I'm a human Curio and Relic. Nobody wants to collect me, though. George, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, bud. I'm lucky that Susan got a hold of me before I was a Curio and Relic. So, so what else has been going on, Mike? What's been going on with the rundown, dude?
Good times, good show. We took the Juneteenth off. We've been rocking every day. I think Paul, I don't even know. We're over 200-300 episodes now. We've been doing it for a year or 2-3 years, something like that. It's a great program. We have a good time. It's continuing to grow. We'll just say that, it's continuing to grow. And I love that you and I we're sandwiched there on Upland. So it's like old style news, right? It's like when you used to turn on the kid as a TV at 5 o'clock. You got news from this view, then from 5:30 this view, and 6. So we're just laying into people with the daily news going on in Second Amendment and conservative world. So it's very lucky, very lucky that way.
Very cool. Yeah, I believe if I remember right, when we were all down in Florida last year in February, not this year, but last year in February, we were all down in Florida. You and Craig had just started that up like maybe the week before. So,
yeah, and if you figure, let's see, we didn't do it this year because of some COVID issues, and it was the year before, so it was 2021, that was 2020, right? 20, yeah. So it's been 2 years we've been doing it now.
Okay.
So it's up there. Maybe it's 2020. I don't know. It seems like a while, but
yeah.
Again, it's been very, very good. And just continuing to build the same way you do right here with all of our internet, interwoven experts that we have. It's good to have everybody just creating that base of individuals. Like we just talked about. I mean, I'm going to get off the phone here and call Lee Williams about this UPS issue. Because listen, and it's about spreading the news, right? I'm going to talk about it. We talked about it here, but I know that kind of investigative story is something Lee will tear apart, and that's better for the industry that it gets out through his network.
Yes, absolutely. Last thing I want to bring up, and we mentioned this at the beginning of the show, Supreme Court sent back several cases. Basically, he's told the lower districts, you got it wrong. Look at Bruin, look at Heller, do it again, do it right this time. Some of the cases that are going back are the Maryland assault
weapon ban.
Yeah, and
then the New Jersey and California magazine capacity, right?
Yep.
And there was one more. I forget what the last one was. Let's see if I can look it up.
I'm looking through. I'm going through the Bearing Arms article right now.
But what this means, folks, is like Paul said, the Supreme Court didn't rule on them. They vacated the decision. So let's say California says our magazine ban of 10, we're holding that. That's our law. Well, they said, no, you're wrong. So your decision there is invalid. Now go back to the lowest court level this started at and use the rules that we just outlined in New York State Rifle and Pistol versus Bruin, which is historical, right? Plain language with historical analysis. No intermediate scrutiny, no strict scrutiny. That's it. You get to use historical analysis and plain language. That's what you got to do. Yeah. That's it. No good of the government. No, that's where the scrutiny comes in. What do we think is best? No, done. Can't do that anymore. Go back and do it the right way.
Exactly. Well, before we hit the bottom of the hour, man, we talked about the rundown. Is there anything else you want to plug? Plug your weekend show, would you, bud?
Oh, listen, this is the one I love the rundown. It's great to do, but Arms Room Radio is where it all started for me. We're in our 8th year now of broadcasting on Arms Room Radio. It's Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. You go to armsroomradio.com. You can listen there or follow on all the 25, 35, 45 cities, something like that. We're on all around the country. We have a great time with it. Looking forward to continuing to do so every Saturday. So join us there. And that's 2 hours of us just sitting around. It's having a good time talking Second Amendment issues.
Very, very cool. For my part, tomorrow is the legal. Every other Friday we do training. Every other Friday we do legal. Tomorrow is legal with Alex Uli. I think we're going to be talking more about the Bruin decision. I don't know if there'll be anything else that comes up, but I know Alex and I could easily do a full hour just talking Bruin, let alone, just a little half-hour show. So,
right.
Come join us 5 p.m. Central Time tomorrow for that. I want to thank everybody for listening, everybody who's commented. I didn't get all of them up, but thank you for everybody for contributing, and we will see you